Well, Bitcoin's price just absolutely crumbled over the last 90 minutes, falling from $92,000 all the way down to $87,000, a loss of 5% in less than 2 hours. Now, as a result of this pullback, the entire altcoin market started to capitulate as well, most of them putting in losses from anywhere from 5 to 10%. Now, as a result of all of this going on, I wanted to make a quick video for you all going over exactly why this pullback is happening, why it's an extremely, extremely important moment here in the crypto market, and exactly what you need to be watching right now. Now, before we get into it, I will remind you that if you are trading in this market right now, you can go get up to $10,000 in bonuses and rewards if you sign up, deposit, and start trading today on BTCC using my link down below. Now, listen, I'm not talking to beginners. I'm talking to experienced traders. Feel free to check out that link down there, and you can get up to 40% lower trading fees as well. Now, first and foremost, let's talk about why this pullback just happened here in the crypto market as we're wrapping up this Sunday night. Now, of course, Sunday night pullbacks have become something of a norm here in not only just the crypto space, but also in global futures markets as well. What you have to understand is that the Asia market opens up roughly around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's naturally going to cause some sort of shift in the market. And there's also a very, very thin amount of liquidity Sunday nights here in the United States, which will naturally trigger liquidation events, especially around that 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. time frame. So naturally, if you do see liquidations piled up towards the bottom side here as you go into a Sunday night, it wouldn't be a surprise whatsoever to see some sort of capitulation to chase them down. Now, in addition to just natural market movements and fundamental market movements, we also have to consider the fact that we just ran into a massive zone of resistance right before we went into the holiday weekend here in the United States. Matter of fact, in the last video that I made for you all, we were talking about this zone between $96,000 and $93,000. And I said, guys, listen, you need to be extremely careful right now, or verbatim, you need to keep a close eye on this, because as we're pushing up into this massive zone of resistance between 86 and 90 or 96 and $93,000, we're starting to see momentum die off. You know, if you look at the 4-hour RSI, we were seeing it trending downwards as we were pushing upwards. That is a key sign that we are losing strength as we are attempting to break a resistance level. And that sort of warning shot needs to be listened to because it can lead to capitulations. We spoke about that just in the last video. And so the reason why we're seeing this pullback right now is simply because we don't have enough strength or buying power to support the price of Bitcoin or the crypto market as a whole right now as it's trying to push into a massive zone of resistance. We exhausted a lot of our bullish momentum and bullish volume trying to get back up into this zone, and we didn't have enough to break through it. And so naturally what's going to happen, especially on a Sunday night, is you're going to see a thin liquidity here in the market get wiped out as Bitcoin's price comes chased towards some of these downsides to reset after this rejection. That's all this was. Rejection off a massive zone of resistance leading to a liquidation event on a Sunday night. That's all this is. It's not the scary, big, crazy thing that everyone's making it out to be on Twitter. This is a normal move from the crypto market. Now, although it's a normal move from the crypto market, it doesn't mean that it's not an important move. And I would actually go to say that this is one of the more important moves that we've seen from crypto, especially Bitcoin, in quite some time. And the reason I say that is because Bitcoin is running out of time, guys. It is running out of chances to get back going. If Bitcoin is going to continue into a bull market and push back up towards all-time highs one day, it needs to do it soon. There's not much time. It's just as simple as that. And if Bitcoin's price is unable to use this recovery that we've seen, which has been a beautiful recovery from $80,000 all the way up to $93,000, if we can't use this move to start making that move, guys, I'm not quite sure that any of these moves coming up are going to actually last. And we very well could go to say that if Bitcoin can't make this one work, a bear market is more likely than not, right? And so that's why whenever you see a pullback happening like this, you need to lock in. You need to pay extremely close attention to what happens next, because Bitcoin is about to try to make a decision. What you can see is that, again, Bitcoin just got rejected off of a massive zone of resistance. And so what it's naturally going to do is it's going to come all the way back down and try to find some key zones of support. It'll try to relocate some liquidity to build a foundation, maybe some sort of previous point of resistance, get you an RS flip to try to get going to the upside. Or maybe it's going to come back down and try to find that key zone of Fibonacci support, right, between 85 and 83K. Or maybe it's going to look for some of these key zones of structural support as well, right? It's going to come back down and try to locate a level that can support it back upwards. And if Bitcoin cannot locate that support, if it can't find that volume and that buying power that it's looking for and continue back upwards, guys, the macro impact that could have could be quite devastating here for the crypto market, okay? So it is extremely important that you understand that this isn't a crazy, scary move. It's not an unusual move, but it's a very important move. And Bitcoin needs to be able to find some support, but I actually do think that it has a decent chance of being able to do so. what we can see is that Bitcoin first and foremost still has a major gap here, right? I mean, we're still looking pretty good. We're still a ways away from $80,000. We got $7,500 to work, so there is obviously a little bit of optimism there. In addition to that, the 4-hour RSI has now already reset back to oversold territory, with the 1-hour RSI already even deeper in oversold territory. You look at your Bollinger Bands, and we are now fully extended to the downside, going to get a 4-hour close below this Bollinger Band, which is something we don't do extremely often. All of which happening while volume is actually ramping up a little bit going into the end of this Sunday. And so what that means to me is that, yeah, there's enough support here. And I definitely do think when you consider all of this liquidity that there's going to be from this little chop that we saw, all the oversold signals and the buying power and the general there's a little bit more bullish sentiment now than there was a couple of days ago. I think Bitcoin has a chance to be able to find some support and continue upwards. And that's kind of what I'm banking on. That's what I think is going to happen. But obviously only time will tell. I'm not a fortune teller. I can't see the future. All I can do is make educated guesses, if you even want to call it that. And my educated guess is that there's enough liquidity for Bitcoin to try to make a run back up towards this green zone, but we need to sit back, wait, and watch until that happens. Okay, so the best thing to do right now is to draw out your key zones of liquidity. I'd say the obvious zones that I'm paying attention to right now are sitting clearly here between $89,000 and $85,000, and then obviously our Fibonacci golden zone sitting between $85,000 and $83,000. So what you can see is there is a ton of liquidity sat below us. There's a ton of structural and Fibonacci based support, and we're just looking to see if Bitcoin can sustain price here and start maybe even trying to put in some sort of more macro cup and handle or some sort of reapproach back towards the upside. Okay, so I'll keep you updated as it plays out, but the two key points I wanted to get through in this video before we end the weekend is that this is a normal move. It's a typical Sunday night bullshit move. No one really cares, but you need to watch it closely because Bitcoin now needs to come back and find support between here and 83K. It is extremely crucial it does so, or the consequences could be quite dire. Okay, so I'll keep you guys updated as it plays out. Don't forget, if you are trading, you can go get up to $10,000 in bonuses and rewards. And before I go, I do have to, of course, show you what our little friend here can do. I figured you'd appreciate that. Have a good night, everybody.